this on my channel yet, so let me know if you like this style, if I should do more of these videos. Anyways, let's begin. Some of these triggers are very obvious, I think. Some of them might be a little harder. Now, if you will just guess the material, that is enough, okay? I don't expect you to fully guess the item, just the material is okay. Alright, let's begin. Let's start with something really easy. Okay, what will I pick? What will I pick? Okay, can you see it? No? Okay. I have to be very careful so you can see it. What is it? What is it? Okay, I don't know how tingly this might be because I didn't find like the right material, and this one isn't as satisfying. If you don't know what it is, I can give you another clue, okay? Okay, so are you ready for the reveal? It's a hairbrush, and I washed it right before I filmed this video, and some water escaped it as I was touching it. It's a really small hairbrush, so it's kind of hard to make sounds with it. But yeah, that's what it was. Okay, next trigger. Try to be really slow. I hope it isn't too loud. If I hold it differently, it makes a different sound. So that might be a clue as well. Another clue. Let's try this other trigger as well. Okay, are you ready for the reveal? It's an empty can of, well, cider actually. this in videos where I think that either I think it's appropriate for the theme, or just because I think that it would kind of, I don't know, it would make the video more fancy. So that was this hairband. Okay, the next trigger will be really difficult, and I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen this trigger in any other video before. This is an original trigger, I guess. Well, nothing on YouTube is original these days, but at least I haven't seen this before. Okay. Kinda thought it would be a bit louder. So if you want a clue, if you have no idea, you would use this in the kitchen. I'm going slower. So, you might have guessed it at this point. You probably have guessed that it's from metal. And it's this kitchenware, or like a kitchen plate, that you would use when you want to put something hot on the table. And it makes this sound if you scratch it, or if I tap on it. How was I doing this before? Like this. It makes this sound. I think this is one of the coolest sounds I've heard in the last few months in ASMR. Okay, this one was a little difficult. Let's do an easy one next. Okay. waves of the ocean. I tried to imitate the sound, but yeah, this was a makeup brush. Alright, next one also fairly easy, I think. scratchy than newer scissors would be, but yeah. Okay, next trigger. So can you guess what it is? It's the bubble wrap foil. And one of my favorite triggers is when you put it on the mic. I feel a little deaf from that trigger. I will have to lower the volume in the video because it was way too loud. Okay, next trigger. This one is very similar to a trigger we've already had here. And I can't do this trigger for too long because my fingernails would hurt, so that also might be a clue. So it is diamond. Well, it's not a real diamond, of course. It's more like glass tapping on this black crystal. Actually, I don't remember why I got this. I've had it for years now. So, yeah, let's move on because I cannot tap on this for too long. Okay, we've got only 2 triggers left. Trigger number 1 out of the 2 is something that I've used on my channel a lot. I think that you might not be able to guess like what it actually is, but you can probably guess the material. guess it's mic brushing, right? But what kind of mic brushing it is? I'll give you a clue. It's not a brush. Not a toothbrush either. So are you ready for the reveal? Final clue is that it's very soft. So it is a feather mic brushing. So